So it's about a 20-second countdown, and then it'll go off.
Oh, why my hands?
Yay.
I'm like nervous.
Don't be
I go live all
nervous.
the time.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Let's Get Social. Happy Friday. I'm so excited that you're here today. Make sure that you hit the like button so that you can share this live out to many people who were waiting for us to get on. And yes, we are on time today, so I'm excited about that. For those that are new to Let's Get Social, I do stream live to both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. But I also have TikTok. I'm streaming live to TikTok as well. So if you see me look in both directions, that is the reason why, because I'm streaming live to multiple platforms at the same time. Today is a little bit different. We don't have a sew along, but we do have an extremely exciting group of people that we're going to be talking to. And those people that you see on the screen are the part of, I know that there's another person that's not here, so I'm going to say part of the planning committee team for Baltimore Frocktails. So yay, I'm so excited to have you all here today. I'm going to take a minute to just allow each of you to introduce yourselves. Of course, I've been like browsing your Instagrams and your social media, so I feel like I know a lot about you, but the people that are tuning in today may not know a lot about you. So if you could just take a minute to tell us a little bit about yourselves. And Jasmine, I'm going to start with you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Jasmine Howard. Oh my goodness, now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, who am I? But no, so I have been sewing for about 8 years now. I moved up here to the DMV area about 4 years ago from Atlanta, and I was there for about 6 years. Um, Outside of sewing, I'm a nanny, so that's what I do for work. And that's, what I do currently. And I sew a little bit of everything. I do quilts, I do bags, I do clothes. Basically, if it's got stitches, I'm probably going to try to do it myself. And that's kind of how I operate. As far as anything else goes, yeah, I just, I have me and my lovely family dog Jedi, and so we hang out, and that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jasmine. And Bertha, Ashley, I always call you Bertha, but
that's fine.
Like to go. Okay, good. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, government name is Ashley, but everybody calls me Bertha, so I will answer to that. I am from the Baltimore area. I've spent time both in the county and in the city, so I'm pretty familiar with the whole area. Been here for most of my life. Yeah. And I started sewing clothes, I'll say at the start of the pandemic. I actually started sewing masks. And then I just thought, oh, maybe I can make this skirt. This looks easy. I'll just try this. And then I just kind of took off from there. And then I discovered the whole Instagram community, and it just kind of, it just kind of took off my whole sewing journey from there. And I don't know, I'm glad to have found this community.
And what do you primarily make?
I primarily make clothes, mainly like tops and dresses. Those are like my favorite things to make. I'm starting to get more into like pants, and for DC Frocktails, I made like a suit. So I'm like, oh, now that I know how to do this, I can probably do this a little bit more. So yeah, mostly clothes. I do like some pillows, and actually on the side, I do work for an event company that I used to actually dance for. They found out that I can sew and like craft and all these things. So I actually made like the pipe and drape that people see around ballrooms. I made like a silver reflective pipe and drape that they use for a bunch of their events. And
wow.
Paid a pretty penny to do that. Will I do that again? No. I'm going to stick to my clothes from now on. But yeah.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So we have a lot of people joining. So I'm just going to say hello to all of our people that are joining. Shamira, Julian, Miss Alethea, Aisha, Kay, 2 Ks, Kay Robinson, Kay Stewart. Welcome to both of you. Hey, Tony, welcome. And then on TikTok, we have like a ton of people joining. Lamessa, Lydia, Sean, Lysandra, Esther, Laura, Nikki, welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for joining. And so last but definitely not least, and I'll let you all think about who is going to introduce and tell a little bit about at least the name of the fourth Frocktail members. But before we get to that, Suki, can you introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm Suki. I am from Prince George's County, Maryland, but I went to school at Morgan State University. Whoop, whoop. I've been sewing since I was 16. I've always was into fashion. I thought I was going to be a blogger right out of college, but that was not the thing. I got into retail and been in high-end retail and been in, now I'm in just regular retail at this point, but I have a business called Stitch by Suki, which I've started as a handbag business. And I honestly got into handbags because I worked in high-end retail and I was buying so many bags and I was like, I'm tired of this. Let me see if I could try to make this. Mm-hmm. And that's just how my business kicked off. I recently got into clothing maybe like a year or two ago. Always knew how to do it, but just wasn't my thing at the moment. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we're currently in Stitch by Suki studio. So I have a studio where I work out of every so often that I can.
Well, that is awesome. Thank you so much for telling us a little bit about yourself. And then I know we have a fourth member. So whoever would like to tell us a little bit about at least the name of the fourth member that is helping planning the Baltimore Frocktails.
Okay. I'll go.
Okay.
So Julia is our fourth member. I think she's from Atlanta and she moved to Baltimore. So she actually lives in the city. Yeah, and I know I met her through a series of fabric swaps that are in Baltimore that have been happening. And then I also saw her at the most recent DC Frocktails as well. Mm-hmm. That's how like I sort of got connected with her between that and social media. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, I am again excited to have the three of you here. I'm excited to have the four of you planning Baltimore Frocktails. And, we have a lot of questions. So those that are listening in, you'll find out like whether this is the first Baltimore Frocktails, what made this group come together. But before we get to that, I just want to tell our folks that are on TikTok, if you want to be able to see the panel, and I'll post some clips of the discussion that we're having today onto TikTok, but if you want to be able to see them in real time and not just hear them, please log on to Let's Get Social on YouTube and you will be able to see them. The link is in my bio. Otherwise, please listen in. Please drop your questions in the chat. I will be reading them to the planning team and they will be able to answer your questions and you will be able to hear them answer your questions. So before I dive into the questions, I will just also say that for those that don't know, I am from Baltimore. I do live in Baltimore, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about Baltimore Frocktails. And I'm excited that Jasmine and Suki and is it Julia?
Mm-hmm.
Julia and Bertha are planning Baltimore Frocktails, and I know that you all have a lot in store. It is a heavy lift, and so I'm excited to be able to share all of the work that you all are doing, but also answer questions that people may have in the audience. So with that, I am going to dive right into some of the questions, and I'm going to start with that. It is a really exciting time in the sewing community. I have only been sewing I just hit my 2-year anniversary. In fact, I'm delinquent on my celebration. I need to be celebrating my 2-year anniversary. It just, hit a day or so ago. I officially kind of marked it July 1 as my sewing anniversary. Thank you. But I will tell you, the last 6 months or so have really, the level of engagement that I have seen in the sewing community from people just coming up with their own challenges, all these Frocktails coming out of the woodwork. And I guess my question to you is, what made you want to bring Frocktails to Baltimore?
I know for me, Baltimore has such a rich arts community in general. And it's such an eclectic city. such a creative city, and it really, to me, was kind of sad that we didn't have anything like that here. At least in regards to like a Frocktails or something to just to bring together the sewing community. Um, yeah, so I know for me that's was kind of like my train of thought, and then I don't know if you, Jasmine, want to chime in.
I think that, I mean, for me, um, I feel like so I feel like with Baltimore, just in general, I would meet. So I go to Open Works. I'm a member there. It's a makerspace in the area, and I think for me, I found that um, the community seemed, not that it is, but it just seemed a little like I couldn't find everybody. So like when I was in Atlanta, I felt like there were places to go, people to meet up with all the time. And of course I'm speaking like slightly pre-pandemic, that kind of thing as well. So like that definitely changed like the scope of what we could do. But I think for me, I was meeting so many people through Open Works, and then also with the Baltimore Fabric Swap, it almost like every person I think we had spoke to, or that I had talked to. I remember going to the first Fabric Swap, and I remember going and being like, "Well, I don't know if anyone's going to be there, but like I'm excited about this. I'm going to go." And just about every person that I met there on that day had the same exact thought. And I think some of that's rooted in just, sewing is kind of like a solitary hobby, right? Like, we can't just pick up and go. It's not like you can throw it in your yarn bag and, go see people. And so I think for me, and maybe it's like one of those, like it's in the air type of things, but I met Bertha at the first Fabric Swap. And I think so. I think probably like part of the energy of seeing how many makers and textile enthusiasts and all the people that do sewing were at these events, it's like, yeah, we actually have a community here. And I think we all just kind of didn't realize how big the community actually is. And I'm talking about for home sews more specifically. Like, of course, we have Artscape. So you see the designers, you see the people who, do this, I would say, for work, who
Right.
do these things as businesses. But I think that, maybe kind of like the energy at the time was that like the home sewists, in Baltimore weren't abundant, if you will.
Right.
And so I think with, seeing the turnouts at the Baltimore Fabric Swaps, and then also just, going to other frocktails and kind of seeing that it's like, yeah. And, Baltimore, listen, Baltimore has its different flavor, it's its own flavor. Everyone jokes about it, but it's kind of true. Like, when we think about the DMV, like Baltimore's its own thing. Like there's Maryland and then there's Baltimore.
That's right.
That's
right. I love that.
And so I think because of that, that's why we were like, yeah, we need this, because Baltimore is its own. It has its own special flavor and vibe, and I think it's great that we get to bring people here and bring all of our community together in this way.
Yeah, I am you said something that's like you said a couple of things that like really resonated with me, but the biggest one is that Baltimore does have its own flavor. And I am not only excited about how many, local people are going to be appearing and what they, how they see, the theme, how they plan to appear. And, but I'm also excited for people who are not from Baltimore to come here and see like what we have to offer from the creative, space. And then the other thing that you said I thought was pretty interesting is that, sewing being kind of a solitaire hobby. And it's so interesting because when I first got into sewing, I did it with my daughter. And I've all like, Bertha talked about it, kind of this community space in which we sew in. And so it's really, I never really thought about it as a solitaire hobby because I sew every Friday, on live with, 30 to 50 people at any given point in time, watching me sew. And so it's hard to really think about, yes, I do sew quite a bit by myself as well, but it feels so community based to me. So anyway, I don't know, Suki, do you have anything to add in terms of like why Baltimore, why bring Frocktails here?
I honestly, I joined them as they were planning the process because I was just like, seeing all the other Frocktails, and I was like, oh my God, that's so fun. And before I even like knew about this whole community, I always felt alone. So I'm like, this is like the perfect thing to just kind of bring to the city. I mean, even being in Baltimore for 4 years, a little bit over 4 years, but being at Morgan State, it's just, I've seen so many different types of people. Obviously, like we say, it's Maryland and there's Baltimore. It is completely a thing. I mean, it was always a battle when I was at Morgan. But I just think Baltimore doesn't get enough credit for the arts that they have here. One, also being artscape, but just all of the different diverse people here. So I really wanted to be a part of something that was just, bigger than me, and being able to like really just get to know other people in the same community and being able to relate to them too. Like, I think that's the biggest thing when you feel alone when you're sewing. It's just like, you have your friends and then you have your sewing friends, and it's fun to kind of talk about those things that you really want to talk about when it comes to your projects and so on and stuff like that. So
absolutely, like you all like hit so many important parts, like, and again, why I'm so excited for us to bring Frocktails here, and hopefully, this is a tradition, I think, that will continue. So I think you pretty much alluded to it, but officially, for the record, is this, to best of your knowledge, the first Frocktails that Baltimore has had? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, kudos to you all for bringing Frocktails to Baltimore. Again, I'm extremely excited about it. So before we go too deep into the questions, let's like tell people, for those that don't know, like, when is Baltimore Frocktails? Like, what time? Let's, and then also, like, can people still get tickets? Are we sold out? And if they can get tickets, where can they get those tickets from?
Okay. So Frocktails is going to be held on August 3rd from 6 to 10 p.m. It's going to be held at Guilford Hall Brewery, which is in the city. It's very close to the Artscape Festival that we keep talking about. So there'll be an abundance of things to do that whole weekend. But the main event is going to be August 3rd at the Guilford Hall Brewery.
And what time will it start?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. And is there an end time, or it's like until we finish?
It's from 6 to 10.
Okay.
But after it's finished, like, the brewery itself will still be open, so people can still hang out downstairs. We're going to be in the upstairs area. If people want to just hang out downstairs or walk around to another area, like, I'm sure
that they will be, well,
they can move.
And it's going to be Artscape, so
yeah. I believe Artscape ends at 11 on Saturday, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
People will be out and about.
But people will be around, so people probably will be coming in.
They will be out.
Yeah, so like when it ends, like when you walk out, it's very close to Artscape, so you'll probably hear the DJs from Artscape still going. So yeah, it'll be a fun time. It'll very exciting.
And the venue, I mean, I'm assuming one of the reasons why you picked it because it's so close to Artscape, and that's a great way for people to kind of maybe get familiar with where Artscape is, maybe even see it on their way to coming to Frocktails. Any other details about the venue that you'd like to share?
I think one thing that I think was, and I think it speaks to just who we are as a group. I also think that one of the things when we chose the venue was access, right? I think that was like our first conversation. We were talking about access and making sure that the whole of Baltimore can get to the location. And so I think that's something that I think was very special about, just where we picked and how it kind of came together. Was it. We were like, we need to make sure that people can walk there, people can bike there, people can ride a bird scooter, they can catch a train, they can catch a plane. And so I think, when we were talking about just Baltimore, the history, all of that good stuff, I think, this is the perfect spot. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why, it's worked for us thus far. So I think that's the one I would say. I think that's very special, is that, you don't have to, it's a way to make sure that we can be as inclusive as possible with the event. And that's something that's super important to us.
Yeah, I think that the venue, so of course, y'all know I'm from Baltimore, as I said. And as soon as they posted the venue, I thought, I got to go see where this is. And I thought it was a place that I knew that I had been before. But when I pulled up, I realized, like, oh, this isn't a place that I've ever been. And it is amazing. Having been to 4 having been to 4 Frocktails, this is amazing space. It like is so open, it's so inviting. It's going to be perfect. I mean, I'm excited for people to come and experience this space. I had the opportunity to go and visit and walk through, and the people were so nice. And they're excited about Frocktails coming to their venue as well. So you all did an amazing job picking out this venue. So I'm just going to take a minute to say hi to some of the people that are in the chat. I don't know if you all can see the chat, but on the right hand side there's like a comment section, depending if you're joining from your phone or your laptop, but you should be able to click on comments and you can see the comments come up. You might be able to. I'm not sure. It depends on the type of device that you're joining from. But hi, Auntie Carol. Hi, Darlene. Patricia, welcome. Hi, Lakshmi, welcome. And Carrie, welcome. Hi, Mike and Amanda, welcome, welcome. And Amanda on TikTok, thank you so much for all of the likes. Thank you everyone for sharing. I appreciate you all. If you have questions, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. Again, I'm going to keep going through the questions that I have lined up for this team. But if you have questions, please, again, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. I will read them or share them with the team, and they'll be able to answer your questions as well. So let's talk a little bit about this theme, the theme that you all selected. A couple of questions. One, how did you pick the theme, and what is it? What does it mean? So let's start there, and then we can dive in a little bit more.
Do you want me to talk about how we got here for the theme? Okay. So we went to Open Works. We were like, okay, let's have our first meeting. And so the theme, I mean, even when I like think back to like how we got to this point, like I think we've been doing so well, you guys, y'all. We have been planning this since March of this year. So
wow.
The turnaround time, everything coming together, it's moving very fast, but it's working very well. But so that was like our first meeting. We were like, okay, here's everyone here, super excited, that kind of thing. And we were talking about like colors and themes and what we want, it to feel like. And we were kind of just thinking about different things. Of course, we're thinking about other Frocktails we've seen, things we liked about some Frocktails, other things that we were like, oh, what do we want? What kind of vibe do we want to have here? And so I think we were just going through like, how you have like little catchy names and catchy phrases, that kind of thing. And I was like, hey guys, like, not to sound too cheesy, but like, what if the theme was like be more and be more? Because we wanted to make sure that like, there's so many neighborhoods and everybody has a different vibe and a different style. We were like, how can we bring all that here? And everybody was like, oh, actually, that's a great idea. And, I think from there, I mean, it was probably like a less than 5-minute discussion on like once the be more and be more kind of came out, it was like, oh yeah, this is it. And then I think Bertha might have said like, yeah, let's do maximalism. And we were like, yeah, that's actually bomb, because, I think just like, even when you're walking down the street, like a lot of people, there's just so many different aesthetics and vibes. And a lot of it is bold and colorful and very true to the individual. And that's kind of how we got our theme going.
That is awesome. And I love the play on Baltimore. Like a lot of people who live here, and especially the people that are in the creative space, will find ways to kind of make a play on be more. And so I love that you all were able to do that. And then to bring in the theme maximalism, it's like, what a perfect way to kind of capture being more in Baltimore. So, but what does it mean to kind of, to, I guess, pull in that maximalism theme as you're making your garment? Like, what does that mean? What would that look like?
So for me, when I think bringing in maximalism as a theme, I think about what I like the most about my personal style, or even a style that I see that I like on somebody else, and just amplifying it in your own way. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a complex structure, or it doesn't need to be like a super complex pattern. Like maybe you like to see like color blocking. Maybe you like to see 2 different like prints on fabrics. Like it could be a simple silhouette with pattern mixing or something like that. Like there are different ways that you can kind of bring in your personal style and just add a magnifying glass and make it bigger.
I love that.
Oh, for me, I'm sorry. For me,
Okay.
just wanting to like, so the one thing about me is that I wear black all the time. Like black is my thing. And I think when I started my business, I started to realize how much of a pop of color I liked, even though I like to wear black. So I think what drew me to even want to be a part of it is the theme, because I think maximalism is like my alter ego. Like I really want to be that person that just wears that pop of color, although I like to wear black. And I think keeping it simple, but also adding like a pop of color or a different texture or a different style or color blocking it is really like what it means to me. And I think it'll be really great to see like how all that ties together, especially for me, because this will be my first full outfit that I'm making for Frocktails. So yeah.
Wow.
We'll see.
Wow. Jasmine.
So for me, maximalism, actually, I'm gonna like actually pull this up. So Suki was actually really great and had asked us like, what like maximalism means to us. And let me pull it up real quick if you guys don't mind.
No, we don't mind at all.
Because I think like what had finally come to my mind, I was like, this is exactly like the verbiage, that like I was looking for. Let me see. Okay, so I said that maximalism to me is the most outward expression of the innermost parts of yourself. So depending on who you are, being more does not have to even mean that you make your whole outfit, right? Like being more might be we're paying more attention to detail. Maybe we're going to try a new skill, right? And just elevate, what you've already been working with, that kind of thing. And so I think, it's really, when we kind of came up with the theme, we really wanted to give guidance with our theme, but we want to allow enough freedom where people don't feel like they have to stick to a certain thing. And so that's what being more is for me. Now, for me, my day to day, I'm like a little Miss Frizzle, right? I have like big pants. I love volume. I love a good vest, that kind of thing. And so for me, I was like, I need to tap into something different. So I'm headed more towards texture and detail for my particular look. But, being more, it really is a matter of, like Bertha had said, your personal style, amplify it, magnify it. But also it's a time to play, experiment, and see, what comes of it.
No, I love that definition that you looked up, and it ties right into one of the questions that we just got into the chat. And Patricia, I see your question too, so I'm going to circle back to your question. But I've said it. I feel like I said it great the first time. Lakshmi, am I saying it right? Lakshmi said, my question is that I'm really worried that my outfit won't be over the top enough to fit the theme, but it's quite extra for me. And so part of my design process is also trying to keep the summer heat in mind. And I think that is all of us are thinking. I've actually been thinking about that myself. Like, oh my goodness, it's going to be like in the middle of, summer. But I think that that's a great question, especially, I shared this with the planning team earlier today. I've been posting a lot of what maximalism is to me, but I could see someone who is either a beginner sewist or this is like way out of their realm thinking, oh my goodness, and be intimidated like this is way over the top. And I think all the ladies have said it in their own way. It's really about what it is to you. And so I don't know if anyone has anything to add to reassure people who, look, if you're a person like me, I'm like you, Suki. I love to wear black. And so wearing color is stepping out of my comfort zone, and I've been working on that for the greater part of a year. So that in itself could really be like just going from black to a bold lime green could be totally maximalism for me. Yeah. To wear something lime green because I'm black all day, every day, all day, every day. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if you have anything to add to reassure people about what they will, bring in terms of their vision of maximalism.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said that it's what kind of it's your own definition, like it's your own personal style. Also, if you actually look up the definition of maximalism, they have different elements that you can pull from. So you don't have to pull from every single element of maximalism when it comes to like shape, color, texture, print, or volume, anything like that. You can pick one element and you can just play with that in your own way.
Just to touch off of that, so how I'm planning it around like how I like to feel and how I like to feel in my clothes and what I like to design. I'm just choosing a pop of color, like a color, because I know that something in my outfit is going to have black in it. But I know that either, and it's so funny, I said this is like maybe my bag, since I'm a bag girly, maybe my bag will be the maximalism, like the bag that I wear the entire event. So I think like simplifying it like that for me does not overwhelm me. But yes, if you look at the definitions, there are different elements. And I like that you brought that up, because you can pick one of those elements and that's your maximalism. So it's really what you define as maximalism.
Can you share, like, if you think of some of the elements, can you share some of those? Like, if you can think of some of them?
Oh, yes. There is actually a TikTok that's going around, and it's like, if it's not interesting in shape, it should be interesting in color. And if it's not interesting in color, then it should be interesting in texture. But it's things like that. So, right, it could be a shape, right? It's like, I know myself, I love curves. Love a curve. I just bought an ottoman yesterday, though, y'all. That's a semicircle. I was like, ooh, this is beautiful. That kind of thing. So it could be a shape that you're interested in. It could be, and the shape doesn't have to be, it could be like an A-line skirt with, some bias binding that you whip around in different ways. It could be beadwork. It could be, texture. Like if you are a fiber person, if you knit sweaters or something, or you knit things, that's texture,
That would be perfect.
Things. There's so many ways you can, pull from these different things. And also, just to, tap back into the question, I really want to invite anyone who's feeling intimidated about coming to a Frocktails. I want you to really understand that we have all had our day one. We've all done our first garment. We are all still seam ripping every other day, and this is a community. The sewing community is a community where we're just happy that you're here. We understand the process and some of the mental struggles that kind of can happen while we're formulating, a t-shirt. You can make the same t-shirt 50 times, on the 51st time the surgeon wants to mess up. You don't know how to thread your machine out of nowhere. So just understand that the community is really, we're all just happy to be in each other's presence and to spend time with one another and to connect and, help build that community. So, I really want to make sure that people feel welcome and don't feel nervous. It's like, if you're making like a tank top, great, you made a tank top. There's a lot of people who don't make their own tank tops. So,
true.
Just know that you're in good, uplifting, positive community.
Yes. If you made it, we're going to gas you up.
Yeah. We are every time.
Yes.
If nothing else, I think that the takeaway is that this is a safe space. So however you come, we're going to celebrate you in that moment. And this is a great opportunity for you to talk about, like, what you've done, what you created, and so that we can all, celebrate that. And then before we go into another question, because I want to talk about another way that people who are local have an opportunity to get more comfortable, to vibe off of other people. And I know you all have you've already had one, and you have a couple more scheduled, some pre-Frocktail events that will allow people to, work on their Frocktail outfits and maybe get more comfortable. But before we get to that, Patricia had asked earlier when we were talking about the venue, is there any parking, and how much is the parking?
So there is street parking. There also is valet. I believe the valet is like $20 maybe, but I will confirm that and post that when I do get confirmation of how much the valet is. But they do have valet service if you do plan on driving. It also is accessible through public transport, and it's about 10-minute walk from the train station. So if you are coming from like the Virginia area or DC area, you can take the commuter train in, and you can walk to the venue, bring your sneakers, bring your change of shoes, walk to the venue, get back to the train station by 10:45. You'll be able to get back home on that train. Same thing for Amtrak, actually. If you're coming from like Philadelphia, you don't feel like driving, you can take a train down, and then you can catch a train that night even. So
and if I remember correctly, I think you had all of that transportation information is posted on the website.
yes.
So for those that don't live locally but live in the surrounding area, the DMV area, or even outside the DMV, but still what we consider like a tri-state area, and you might be coming by train, they have information on the website to tell you how to get there. So definitely check that out on the website, and that's www.baltimorefrocktails.com. Did I say that right? I did. Okay, I got it. Okay, so let us, and again, drop your questions. I'm just looking on TikTok, see if I have any questions in the chat there. I think most of the people have hopped over. But yes, those were great questions. And I'm just going to take a moment to say hi to some of the people that have just joined us. Quana, Patricia, Joshua, Renee, Tony, Will. Hey, Will, Kiana, Amanda, Deborah, Tydree. Hey, Tydree, welcome. Thank you all for joining and tuning in. Hopefully you are getting some of your questions answered and hearing more information about Baltimore Frocktails. And so we just finished talking about the maximalism theme and what does that involve, but also that people should feel comfortable because it really is about what they think it is. And so one of the things that this team has put together to help people, again, get to know each other prior to the Frocktails, but also to start working on their Frocktails outfit and get more comfortable with it. And so let's talk a little bit about those pre-events that you have planned leading up to Frocktails.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to get is it July 19th?
Yes.
So at the Tool Library, Baltimore
Yes.
Tool Library.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have an event. You do have to RSVP for that one though, because there is limited space at the Tool Library. But that is the second event. We just had an event at Handcraft Happy Hour. So our second event is at the Baltimore Tool Library. You can RSVP through our website. There'll be a link on there to put your name down and everything. And then our third event is going to be July 27th. So that'll be the week before Frocktails, for you to be able to either put the finishing touches on your outfit or start it, because I know some of us are last minute. I know I am. So that will also be at Handcraft Happy Hour, which is located in Hamden. And that is a good opportunity to meet people. You can bring your machine. There will be setups where you can actually plug your machine in at the tables, multiple power stations for you to be able to do that, and get help from other people. If you have any questions with like any sort of techniques that you may need to work out, there'll be people there who will be able to help with that. Or even just like the details of your outfit, if you need an opinion or anything like that. We're all here to kind of help each other get to that end goal of completing something for Frocktails.
I think that's awesome. I had a great opportunity to show up at the first pre-event. And first of all, that's again, another space that I had never been to before. It was really nice. And again, just to see so many people there, just planning and designing and drawing and talking about what they were going to be doing for Frocktails. And so I'm going to put you ladies on the spot and ask you, have you started your frock yet for Baltimore Frocktails? I see like the eyes, like, like, have you started even thinking about like what I'm going to do, or fabrics, or
yeah.
Yes, it's all up here. Well, also it's also on some paper. There is some that's on some paper. I spent my time last week at the pre-event, And, I use that time to really kind of sit with my ideas, get some opinions, stuff like that. I just saw Amanda. Hi, Amanda. It was nice seeing you at the event. I see that she's here in the chat, so that's lovely. Yeah, I have the vision. I've done some designs. I think like all fashion designers, you got like 6 options, and now we got to narrow it down. The theme is
I
there.
have my
The theme is
fabric for my bag. I'll just say that.
Ooh,
So
Suki has more
I
than that.
start focusing my maximalism around my bag because that's just what I do. So the outfit is gonna have to come later, but the bag is the most important part for me. So that may be the one that's done the week before. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, look, I think Jazz said it, or actually Bertha said it. Like many of us have started like the week before, so it is not unusual for people to start right before. So we have a couple of comments in the chat. So someone asked, and I think we're going to talk about like food and stuff like that. But someone has made a comment in the chat. Someone asked, are there any events happening on Friday and Sunday? So Friday is the day before Frocktails, and Sunday is the day after the Frocktail event. And so I know we have Artscape, and that is in Baltimore. So that is, if you're not from Baltimore, even if you are from Baltimore, and you're coming into the city, maybe you live on the outskirts outside of Baltimore. Artscape is definitely something that I would encourage you to visit or participate in. It is awesome. A lot of people do participate. It's a fun time. But I don't know if there are other events that are going on the Friday before. And I'm going to turn it over to the team because I'm nosy and I'm always trying to figure out stuff. So I'm going to turn it over to the team. They have all the details. Anything going on Friday or Sunday, day before, day after Frocktails.
So Friday, Artscape has something called Project Artscape, which is like Project Runway. They actually are having a panel with designers and industry people who are like in the fashion industry, especially like local designers and things like that. They're having a panel and discussion that starts at 5 on Friday. So we were thinking it would be cool to just meet up at a spot close to Artscape and just kind of heading over to that discussion and kind of, getting an idea on how these designers kind of think and go through their process and everything. We thought that would be pretty cool. And then some of you may be familiar with Aisha with the Bold As Moms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, she is having a brunch actually at the Guilford on Sunday. So shout out to her, shout out to that group. And then also on Sunday, there is a fashion show at Artscape that you can go to. I don't have the time for that yet. It hasn't been posted yet. And also the headliner for the free concert at Artscape is the Wailers, the Bob Marley band. So that would actually be kind of a fun activity too, to kind of go to that free concert and enjoy that and kind of enjoy some of the things going on around there. And then also something to consider, just really nailing down this whole Artscape thing is just walking around Artscape. I think it would be kind of cool to meet up, walk around Artscape and kind of take advantage of all the photo ops that they have around, because they have all these installations. And then there's also Graffiti Alley that's in Baltimore, that's right in that area, which would be a huge spot to just kind of like take some pictures for the grid and get some content that way, just like help each other out that way. And as far as something that's like an official event, we don't necessarily have like an official thing that's going on that Friday. But we are, thinking about these meetups, and we'll be posting like places to meet so that we can have people get together and kind of take advantage of all the events around the city together.
Yes, I love that. And I think that, you mentioned a couple of key things. I think the fashion shows would be great. and the discussion, hearing how designers, kind of come up with their, what their thought processes are. I think that would be really good. And so you will post kind of those events and more information about Artscape for those that might not be familiar with it. You'll post it on the website so they'll be able to go there.
Yes.
And for those that aren't aware, for the most part, and again, I'm not aware of anything that is not free. Artscape is pretty much free. And so at least all the things that I participated in Artscape. So for those that are coming, out of town, you spent money on your flights or your transportation, your hotel. Artscape is something, other than the food that you might be buying,
Exactly,
engaging in,
Yeah.
it is something that I would say is worth it's worth money, but it's free. So that would give you some indication of how good it might be for you.
There's also vendors that'll be there Saturday too that you'll be able to go look at. Also, Baltimore has a farmers market too on Sunday. If you want to go down there, there's vendors there too. There's a bunch of things to do. Like we're working on some social media things to post out there, and like Bertha said, just to like meet up and do. But there's so much that's going on. And I think the last time I went to Artscape, there was someone there selling fabric, like different types of fabric. So you never know what you can
find. That is a great point. So for somebody who's looking to say, like, when if they're coming on Friday and planning on leaving on Sunday, you're going to have stuff posted. So they'll have some idea of what things they can get into on from Friday, say Friday 5:00 until Sunday 5:00.
Yes.
You might
and
have
also encourage everyone to follow Artscape Be More. It's we can tag it in our story, but they'll be posting updates too. So it's good. It'll be good to kind of see what like they have going on in the times, because they didn't post the times yet. So they may beat us to it and post the times before we do.
Awesome. And you mentioned, Bertha, you mentioned the Bold Ass Moms event on Sunday, the mix and mingle. I know that it's limited seating there. I think it's 18 or 20 seats. And so we have Aisha in the chat. Aisha, can you drop how many slots you have open? Because I'm sure it's going to be sold out before the event. So drop it in the chat. And also if you can drop in the chat how they can purchase those tickets to come to the Bold Ass Moms event. And the great news, I think that you also mentioned, is that it's at the same venue. So once you find it, you can go right back there. You don't have to look for somewhere else to be able to go.
4 slots left.
Four slots. Look, 4 slots left. So, definitely make sure that if you are interested in coming, I know I will be there. I'm excited about it. Make sure that you get your ticket. And then, so let's talk a little bit about, because our time is just like flying by. So we're going to talk a little bit about sponsors. Sponsors are a very important part of Frocktails. And, you all see me do a post lately kind of thanking some of our some of our sponsors, one of whom is also a part of the planning team. So thank you for being a sponsor as well. And I'm excited just having browsed your site. I'm like, okay, whatever you got, whatever you're giving, I want it. I'm claiming it. So to give you some time to think about, the sponsors, and I have some questions because I've also done some research on the ones that I know about too. I just want to take an opportunity to go back to a question that was asked earlier, which is from Gifts Extraordinary. I am highly allergic to seafood. So can you tell me, is there any food at the function that we at the Frocktails event?
Yes, there will be like an appetizer buffet sort of situation. I am going to pull up the menu right now to make sure or to let you know if there are any like seafood items on there. I don't think there is, but let me just double check before I steer you wrong.
I think that's a great question because Baltimore is definitely known for its seafood. And so that's a really good question to ask. And because it's, everywhere you go, you might find seafood in something. And so, of course, we got to have our Old Bay and everything because, that's just how we do it here in Baltimore. And so while Bertha is looking up the food, Can you tell us a little bit about, or let's dive a little bit about into before again? So before we go to the sponsors, let me put sponsors on hold real quick and talk a little bit about what people can expect when they come to Frocktail. So Bertha's looking up the food, but let's talk like, will there be music? Will we have photographers? Like, what can people expect when they walk through the door of on the day 6 p.m. Baltimore Frocktails? Like, what is their evening? What what can they expect?
I would say that you could expect a Baltimore experience. I think when finding the just everything that we have going on, we really wanted this event to feel like Baltimore. So the DJ is playing Baltimore Club, not Jersey Club, Baltimore Club. You know,
Prepare to
you
dance.
know, the decor that you'll see that's there are coming from multiple artists that are just within the area, different designers, just different artists, especially, also because we are aligning ourselves with Artscape. It's great to have the artists that are in the community there, so you can see these different vibes and different elements that Baltimore artists bring. That's what I would say for the decor is looking like. We also have there will be space for photos. We are still working on some of the plans for that to see exactly, like, is it going to be a booth? Is it going to be, a space where people can say like, hey, this is Baltimore Frocktails. We're still working out on some of those details, but really just, I think walking in, I would say to expect to just feel like you're at home. You're at home with the coolest people around. Everyone's wearing a great outfit. Um, feel invited, feel like you're just ready to come in, and that it's like it's all your buddies are here, all your best friends are here. And so I think that's kind of the energy we're trying to bring to Frocktail. Suki, what do you think?
I just think, like you said, like we're focusing on having a really great event, and just making it a good time. Obviously, music plays a good important part. And then also being able to just kind of showcase some of the work that we've worked on as designers or as sewists. One of the wasn't going to say it, but one of the things we're kind of working on is like a little fashion show for everybody, just to kind of walk down the runway. Let's celebrate each other. I think that's one of the big things about Baltimore is just celebrating each other and, being able to highlight what we all, can do and bring to the table. So yeah, we're got some stuff in the works, but I think we'll post a little bit more about the feel and the vibe that it's given. I think we're doing a good job with just showing you guys the theme and like adding the music to some of the posts to just get everyone ready. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really good time. And I say, please bring a change of shoes because we're going to hit the floor, okay? I need to see everybody two-stepping.
Yes.
And if you don't know, we're going to have a lesson.
I love that.
Very adamant about having a good DJ to kind of get that mood going. Because, like, I grew up on Baltimore club music. Mm-hmm. Like,
right.
It's important to me to have that. It's a huge part
vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
It is.
It is a vibe.
It is. And then also to just highlight something that we've also that Jasmine brought up, like the like showcasing the designers. We actually are going to have people's designs showcased around the venue. We have designers who will be bringing pieces and we'll be having them like on dress forms around. Yes. So you can expect kind of like a design studio vibe kind of going on. So.
And again, it's just expanding your community too. You're gonna be able to scan the QR code and see more about this designer, right? They may be in the room, they may be not, who knows? But at least you'll be able to find this designer and see like what maximalism means to them too. So I think that was a really fun touch that we put to this, is that we're showcasing local designers too as well that design.
And of course, and we'll also be having some little activities to kind of, so that the people that are attending, our attendees, will also feel a little bit more comfortable meeting one another, greeting one another, that kind of thing. I know Bertha's first Frocktail, she came alone. And I'm like, big ups to going to a Frocktails alone, but that's also, why we have these pre-events and stuff too. But, we want to make sure that our attendees, are also getting to kind of build that network. It could be something as simple as like, oh, you live in Fed Hill, I live in Fed Hill. We can go hang out. Let's go sew together. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things also Julia will want us to probably talk about is the high school students too that will be featured as well. Some of them will be putting designs to show like what they do. So I think it'll be really good to just give them support too at an early age and kind of show them like, hey, the community gets bigger as you grow. So yeah.
That is awesome. That is really awesome. So I wasn't aware that you all were bringing in some high school students and their designs. Yeah. So that is really awesome. And we have kind of an opportunity to kind of show them, and talk about our journeys as well with them.
Yeah. It's always good to pour into the youth in any way that you can.
Yes. I love that. And so you talk about, being able to connect with people. I'm seeing Miss Kinky Curl said that, she's going to be coming and she's coming from Philly. So for anybody else that might be coming from Philly, definitely connect with Miss Kinky Curl because she'll be coming in from Philly. And I know we have some other people that are coming from Pennsylvania. So I'm just putting that out there. And then also, Aisha, if you're still on, Miss Kinky Curl said, can you drop in the chat where she could get a ticket for the Sunday brunch because she knows there's only 4 left and she wants to make sure she gets one of those. And then on TikTok, Lisa from Black Women Stitch says she got to have some crab cakes. So we got to make sure because crab cakes is what known for.
I was going to throw it out there.
Yeah, I was going to say we should make sure we have some. Yes. Look, well, I'm not anymore, but I was. And so we should make sure there's lots of places that people can go to get a good crab cake from in Baltimore. So we should make sure there's at least a couple of those places on the website for people to be able to kind of, and there are ones that you can get to like where close to where, where we're going to be.
We're going to put in addition to activities, we're going to post like places to eat. We're going to make sure, of course we have seafood options. We're going to try to get some vegan options in there too.
Yay.
Got our vegan friends out there.
Yes. Thank you. I'm one of them. Let's see. Okay. So now let me see. I want to see before. Okay. So now let's talk about our sponsors. So I said earlier, sponsors are a big part of, I think all the Frocktails, they help us do what we do in terms of Frocktails. And by we, I mean you and the other planners pull off an amazing event. And so I went on your website and I saw that you had some already amazing sponsors. Suki, who is on the planning committee, is also a sponsor. We have Dee in the chat. Patterns by Dee. She is also a sponsor. So those are 2 of our sponsors, but we have several others, including Guilford Hall Brewery, which is where we are having this amazing event. But I'm not going to read through this whole list, but I want you all to, talk a little bit about, the sponsors. And then from what I heard through the grapevine, i.e., the team, that there are some other sponsors that were not listed, but will be listed soon. So I don't even have the full complete list, but there also might be some surprises in the mix. And so I'm going to turn it over to you all to really talk about some of the sponsors and what people who are attending who are on the fence and thinking about attending, why they might want to jump off that fence, get their ticket because of what you all have in store, if they aren't already convinced enough. Which I would be, but let's just put the icing on this beautiful cake already. The beautiful vegan cake.
Do you guys want to talk about the other ones first and then we'll do the announcement last?
We can. Oh yeah, I'm definitely down for that. So we have. So I'll speak on. I'm not going to run down the list, of course, like you are either. But our sponsors have really been providing us with the opportunity to create some great swag bags that we have coming. We also are going to be able to provide our attendees with some discount codes. Also, there's going to be some raffles, you guys. That's something big. We have some fantastic raffle items that we've been able to get. And with Frocktails and sponsorship, it's been great because we just reach out to the people in our community, right? And these people are just so willing to support our cause and to support us. And so it's been a very good process, I think, overall. Like, we reach out, we're like, hey, we have this going on. How do you feel about this? It's a way for us to support. It's a way for us to get support, but also it feels very mutual because we're also able to exchange, services and goods and things like that, kind of like how our community is in general. And also, we're building these relationships, building these connections. And so we're hoping that, with through our sponsors, we're able to keep Baltimore Frocktails going. And so we've just been very, and I can't express how thankful we are to the community for, just coming and just really loving us and wrapping their arms around and helping us, really execute what we have going on. But yeah, I would say, so you can expect some discount codes that we all love a little free money.
Discount.
Discount, we love a discount. Discounts, but I think, I don't know if we're going to talk about our raffles just yet, but we have some really awesome raffle moments. But I think, even if it wasn't for that, just to come and have a great time, meet some new people, find some new friends, that's what we're really here about. And that's what our whole thing is. Every time, I think with all of our sponsors, we have really reached, we have been looking for in the crevices of Baltimore to find our sponsors local first. We've been looking really at the local level first. Of course, if we have other connections, we've been using those, but we've really been reaching out to the city, I think, for everything we've had. We've reached out to, like Julia was looking, reaching out to the design school. I've looked at Arts for Learning. That we've reached out to just different stores around here. Handcraft Happy Hour has allowed us to use her space. Station North Tool Library is allowing us to, to do these things. And so that's the beauty. That's the love we have going on with our sponsors.
I love it.
Or I'm like rambling about them, but they're, that's how it feels. We know, how you have a good community, but to see the turnout in this way, and there's no hesitation. I feel like we haven't had anyone be hesitant at all with just pouring into us.
Yeah.
No, I think that is really great. And I will tell, I'm excited to hear about the other sponsors and check the website, but half of the sponsors that you had on the website, I had never heard of before, but was really excited and I'm like looking into what I could, what I could do. And I'm just going to mention like two of them that I was really excited about. So My Body Model is one of them. And this is, again, I'm not calling out all of them because we will be here for another 30 minutes. But this My Body Model has a body model app that makes custom fashion templates that you can use. And so I was really excited about that. I'm like, okay, I'm first of all, I'm getting that. I'm getting the app. And they have digital and printable fashion sketchbooks. So that's one of the sponsors. I don't know what they're giving away or what we're going to get from them, but I was just really excited about that. And then we all know our very good friends at Oliso, the Iron. I have one, but they are also a sponsor. Again, I talked about Dee and Suki. They are sponsors as well. But again, those aren't all of them, but those were two. When I talked about My Body Model, never heard of My Body Model before, but was really excited about it. And so before I go back to you, I know we're, going over our 1 hour mark, but hopefully you all are okay because we have some comments in the chat that I do want to read to you all. For those that did say they wanted the ticket, I just texted Aisha and she is trying to drop the link in the chat. We will make sure that if you don't get it now, that we will follow up with you afterwards to make sure you get the link to the brunch. And Patricia says that going alone really terrifies her, but that this chat is really motivating her to go ahead and get her ticket. And so I, will say that this is a safe space for you. If you do get your ticket, I will be looking for you to personally say welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. And I know that everyone on the Frocktails team will be doing the same. So please, don't have any anxiety or fear about coming, because when I tell you that this is a safe space, this community is a safe space for you to be like no other that you will experience. So someone else asked, Michelle asked, will there be dancing and DJ music? And Michelle, yes, everybody, in fact, Suki said you need to bring some flats, you need to bring some shoes because you will be dancing. And if you don't know how to do the dance, you will learn the dance because they will teach it to you. So yes, yes, and yes to that question. And let me see. What else? And Dee says she is so happy to be a sponsor. A couple people said it sounds like we could make this a weekend, and I couldn't agree more. I think this is definitely a weekend. And so stay tuned to the website because there will be more information about how you can make it a weekend. And so with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Bertha, Suki, and Jasmine to talk about more sponsors or big surprise reveal. And you all heard it here first. I'm just saying that for the record. I always want to say that. You heard it here first. So you heard it here first.
I think Bertha should actually talk about it, but I just want to say what she's about to announce is like super big. I think we are super like setting the tone and starting the tradition here. So I'm super excited. I've been excited about it since we talked about it. And I know the other party is excited about it. So I'm going to kick it off to her.
Okay. So I came up with this idea of, in the spirit of collaboration over competition, to actually raffle a ticket to another Frocktail city. So we are working with Raleigh Frocktails, and we are actually going to be raffling off a ticket to their event to one of our attendees. So you actually, somebody's going to get a 2-for-1 deal coming to this Frocktails. Yes. So we're very excited because it's also their first Frocktails as well. Yes. So we really wanted to kind of take this opportunity to kind of help each other out, pour into each other, and kind of, you know, extend that community. And hopefully we'll be able to have this something as like a pay it forward system that other cities will be able to kind of like
adapt.
Kind of adopt and
That is awesome. Kudos to you. I love community over collaboration. Like we saw that with the Chicago Frocktails theme, and like that is so awesome. That is amazing. And so look, I'm not going to claim it because I claim every prize as my own.
Is Carmen in the chat? I'm sure she's claiming.
Right. So, but I'm excited. That is an amazing, amazing, amazing gift. So with that, I think we said, I want to, turn it over to you all to see, like, I'm looking through my list of questions to see, is there anything else? Let's just do a quick recap before we end it all. When is Baltimore Frocktails? The date and time, and where can they get tickets?
Baltimore Frocktails is August 3rd from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Guilford Hall Brewery in Baltimore, Maryland. You can buy tickets on our website. The link is in our bio on baltimorefrocktails.com. And so we have sold out of our VIP tickets. We do still have general admission tickets available. So if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, you might want to jump on that.
Yes. Make sure you get your ticket because they're going to be selling out. So make sure you get your ticket. And again, the website, www.baltimorefrocktails.com, but you can also find the link. Is it in everyone's bio? Can I send them to everyone's bio?
It's definitely in the Be More Frocktails.
Be More Frocktails.
I have the link to the Be More Frocktails Instagram in my bio, so I'll add the link to the website in my bio as well.
Same.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, well. And just for those that also might be looking, it is Be More, BMORE Frocktails, not Baltimore Frocktails. That's a different, someone kind of claimed that handle, but I want to make sure that you go to the right one. It's Be More, BMORE Frocktails. That is the Instagram handle for Baltimore Frocktails. So again, I just want to say thank you all so much for sharing all of this amazing information. Thank you all for listening. I look forward to seeing all of you at Baltimore Frocktails and following all of your inspiration in the weeks, and we don't have months. So in the weeks to come, thank you all so much. This has been very helpful based on the chat, and it's just for me as well. And again, thank you all. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining.
Oh, 1 second, please, if you don't mind. Bertha, were you able to check the menu for the seafood?
Yes.
briefly?
Yeah. So they
Thank
don't
you.
have any like seafood options on the
Okay, great.
menu for that, so you don't have to worry about like seafood allergies or anything like that. But we are going to post where to get good seafood, and crabs and all of that.
Yeah.
And so we have a couple questions. So before we end it, let's make sure we answer all these questions. I should probably say that anybody have any last minute questions, please drop them in the chat while we have our ladies here. Dee asked, is there going to be a Be More Frocktails next year? She's already moving to next year.
We're claiming it. Yes.
Yes.
We're going to do this one first, and then we're claiming it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're claiming it.
I love that. And then Angela asked, which hotel is closest to the event?
So we have 3 hotels in Mount Vernon that are closest to the event. The Hotel Ulysses is going to be the closest to the event. It's like a 15-minute walk. You have to walk through the Artscape Festival to get to it, so it's still maybe worth getting a Lyft or an Uber to kind of get around that if you are, walking through in your outfit and everything. But the 3 Mount Vernon hotels are going to be your closest bet. A couple of them did have discounts, just like summer discounts, but I have found that if you look on like Expedia or hotels.com, those same hotels have even more discounts on those websites. And then we also have 3 that are downtown. Those are a little bit further away. They're still within the city limits, still within a 20-minute ride to get to Frocktails, but I would look at the Mount Vernon hotels first.
And we have Uber and Lyft in Baltimore, so you could use either of those options to get around in Baltimore if you do end up staying in a downtown hotel. Patricia asked, do you all need any volunteers or any help?
I would say that we are always open. We are so open. If you would like to volunteer or assist us in any way, please either shoot us an email or just hop in our DMs and just let us know. Really, I would say what you're interested in helping with or assisting with, and what time frame works for you if you happen to have that information. Or if you're like, hey, I'm open to helping with, from this date to this date, this time, this kind of thing, just let us know. And I would say with any real communication, if you have any questions, if you just need a friend that, you want to walk into Frocktails with, anything, you can feel free to send us a DM at the Be More Frocktails Instagram. One of the 4 of us will catch you.
Awesome. That's a great question, because I know on the day of, that's like a super busy day. So if somebody's available to help, I know that would probably be really meaningful. So great question. And Miss Kinky Girl said, just make sure that Phillips is not on the
No.
Overrated.
Oh my God. No.
Overrated.
He said, don't look.
It is. Look at that place.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure you know all the good places to get some seafood. So you will have your choice. Any other questions that anyone has, or ladies, any last minute things that you would like to say before we wrap things up?
I just want to say thank you for this.
Yes.
This is definitely something that was needed, and thank you for all your help as well. I love the excitement and what you're trying to bring to Baltimore and show with Baltimore. So I think it's all aligned with everything that we're trying to bring as well. So I just want to say thank you as well. This was a great interview. And I definitely think
very welcome. You're very, very welcome. I'm so excited. Again, this is my city, so I feel a renewed excitement. Like, I'm so excited that people will be coming here. I know you ladies are doing a phenomenal job bringing Frocktails to Baltimore, and I'm really excited for everybody to see what we have. And I couldn't think of a better time to do it. The only thing I will mention, if I could ask myself, is there any last thing I want to say? The Met Gala, it won't be going on during Frocktails, but it is coming. Well, we have it in Baltimore. We had it last year, at least I knew about. And then it's coming this year, September the 14th.
Yeah.
Yes. And so it is, if you love what you see, the designers that we have on display, what you get exposed to when you come to Baltimore, you may want to think about coming back for Met Gala. It is a whole production. And it is exciting. And so September the 14th. I'll just drop that out there. If you like what you see when you come for Frocktails, you may want to think about coming back. And ladies, y'all might want to go to Met Gala and display your Frocktails outfit. Like wear that to like get two uses out of it. So
yeah, I have friends who've gone before, so that's actually a great idea.
it's a great idea. Get 2 uses out of your Frocktails outfit. So anyway, Miss Kinky Curl said, I was on the fence, but now I'm convinced. And that makes me so excited. She said, I more Frocktails here, but she is coming. So I cannot wait to see you there.
We can't wait to meet you.
Yes. We got what? Is it 4 weeks now? A little less than 4 weeks, right?
20 days.
Yes. So let's get to it. We're going to all be working on our Frocktails outfit. I'm working on mine. Order swatches, got designs together. I'm excited. So, all right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Everyone
Thank
for
you,
joining.
everyone.
And I will see you all next Friday. We are going to be back to sewing next Friday. So take a look at the schedules. I have them posted on Instagram. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. So take a look at the schedules. And on TikTok, I will post my schedules for you all there as well. And so I will see you next Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye.
Bye.